Okay, next question. Oh, can my job fire me for having a DUI? Is that legal? Okay. Yes, actually, if part of your job requirement is that you have a valid driver's license, getting a DUI could get you fired from your job. Because there's an automatic license suspension that goes with being charged with a DUI. So technically you don't have a driver's license. Now, it is possible to get your license reinstated for work privileges. Now, if that were to occur, then your employer wouldn't have a basis to terminate you. But if a condition of your employment is that you have a valid driver's license, yes, getting a DUI could get you fired at work, and your employer would have a justifiable reason to do that. Now, if you get a DUI and for whatever reason that's not a condition of employment to have a valid license, then it would get down into what type of job you have and what your employer's rules and regulations are for conduct. You know, I know while I was a police officer, I had fellow officers that got DUIs when they were in other jurisdictions on vacation. For some reason, it always seemed to be golf tournaments that would get them into these situations. Obviously, they couldn't drive a police car while they were being adjudicated on a DUI. So most of the time, they would be on desk duty for about a year, at least a year and a half, until the DUI matter had resolved and their license was reinstated. So they were demoted, so to speak, but they weren't necessarily terminated. So a lot of times it's really just going to come down to what your employer's policies are. Okay, next question. Okay, what happens when I get a ticket and I'm driving a company vehicle? Can they fire me for that? Okay. If you get a ticket while you're driving a company vehicle, as long as it's not an equipment violation on the vehicle, then the ticket is your responsibility, and it is your duty to appear in court and adjudicate it and take care of it. If there's an equipment violation, the ticket is still issued to you and you still need to take care of it, but ultimately it's the employer's responsibility to make sure that the vehicle's in working order. So most of the time the employer would want to take care of that equipment violation and assist you in getting that ticket resolved. But you know, as a driver, doesn't matter whose vehicle it is, you are responsible for making sure that the brake lights work, the headlights work, the turn signals work, and that it's driven in a safe and compliant manner with the rules of the road. So even though it's someone else's vehicle, even a company vehicle, it's your responsibility as a driver to make sure that you drive it correctly. Now, as far as an employer being able to fire you for getting a traffic ticket, again, it's no different than with the DUI. If having a valid license is a condition of employment and you've received a moving violation, it depends. If you get a reckless operation or an aggressive driving charge, then your employer could have a justifiable reason to terminate you because they're allowing you to drive their company's vehicle, and if they know that you're an aggressive and reckless driver, they could be setting themselves up for liability and litigation on down the road. Perfect example of this. Someone's had 3 or 4 speeding tickets and 3 or 4 like stop sign or red light violation tickets, and then they ultimately get in an accident. The first thing that the personal injury attorney is going to do is sue not just the driver, but they're going to sue the employer. And one of the allegations they're going to make is wrongful entrustment. And what that means is that the employer knew that they had this reckless driver and they continued to let them drive, which created an enhanced hazard to all the other motorists on the road. So as an employer, it's important that you make sure that your employees, if they're driving company vehicles, have clear license, that you do a DMV check, and you make sure that your insurance covers not just the vehicle itself, but anyone at the company that's going to be driving it. And the reason that you want to do that is because if they are in an accident, they're not going to just sue the driver, they're going to sue you, the employer, for having owned and operated the vehicle. So there are instances where getting tickets, getting citations could result in you losing your employment because your employer cannot continue to employ you and have that level of risk if you're a bad driver. Again, another reason to have your tickets reduced and adjudicated through an attorney negotiation is so that your DMV record stays nice and clean. We get a lot of clients that have a CDL, commercial driver's license, which is even more restrictive, and you can have even fewer points on your license and be able to keep your CDL valid. So we negotiate a lot of tickets for our CDL guys just to make sure they're not going to be in a situation of losing their job. Okay, last question. We're going to wrap up. Let's see. Okay, can you get a ticket for having your dog ride in the bed of a truck? That seems reckless, and I see it all the time. Okay, so got some puppy lovers out there. Technically, I can't recall a specific traffic code violation about a dog in the bed of a truck. I know a person in the bed of a truck. There's a citation for that, especially if it's a minor. But there's a catch-all in the DMV code. And any type of operation of a vehicle in an unsafe manner is kind of a catch-all. The police officer has to articulate that, but that could fall into that category. The other category I can think of is an obstruction to a driver. Anything that obstructs the driver's view, you can be written a citation for that. So if you have a Chihuahua in the truck of your bed, you're not going to really be able to articulate that that's an obstruction of the driver's view. But if you have a great big St. Bernard that's standing in that back window, and now you as the driver can't see out the back of your window, then I think you would be able to articulate the obstruction. So there are some catch-all creative ways that a citation could be issued, but more importantly, even if you had to slam on your brakes, that dog's going to go flying out of the truck of the bed, so it's just not safe, so don't do it. All right, so I think that's going to wrap us up for today. So that's our summary on traffic tickets and DUIs. If you are unfortunate and do receive a ticket, you can call us up, you can find the truck, or you can email us your citation, proof of insurance, driver's license, and registration. We charge $75 to handle your traffic ticket. Whether you have 2 or 3 violations, we charge per actual ticket that you're given by the police officer, because we make it 1 appearance for each of those. So call Ticket Chicks. You can reach us at tixxchix.com, or you can call us at 723-TIX, TIXX, and we're more than happy to take care of your traffic ticket. And if you do have a DUI, come in and meet with us, and we'll talk about representation for that as well. All right, we'll see you next Wednesday. We're going to address the issues behind short sale. We are going to talk about when they're beneficial, when they're not, how a short sale could help you specifically, and I'm going to try to get a couple of my real estate friends to commit to come in and talk to you give their perspective as a short sale agent as far as how short sales are going, which banks are given the best approvals, and you'll be able to ask us questions about short sale and try to dispel the myths that are out there and help you all decide whether a short sale is the way to go with your property. All right, we'll see you next week.